Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Fall. Jersey Joe Archino back here, and we are La Liga bound as this weekend begins the 2016-17 La Liga campaign. And obviously this has been a league that has been dominated by three clubs the last few seasons: Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Barcelona. And I don't think there's any reason to expect anything different this season. All three of the clubs are going to look a little bit different, but I largely don't think that there's been any major changes. In England, we've seen a lot of power shifting, a lot of big players coming and going, but with these three clubs, really not as much. And obviously, I think it's very interesting. Barcelona starting off their campaign with the Spanish Super Cup victory, Real Madrid starting off their campaign with a UEFA Super Cup victory. So both clubs hoisting their down silverware to begin their season. That's always something to help them get off on the right foot. But obviously, for me, it really just come down to Real Madrid and Barcelona. Barcelona obviously is trying to win their third La Liga trophy in a row. And Real Madrid, this has been one of those trophies that has eluded them for a long time. They've been able to hoist down the UEFA Champions League trophy, but this has been a trophy that they really want to and need to reclaim to reestablish that positioning in Spanish football. But I think it's one of those things now where when you look at it as a whole, I think Barcelona is still, for me, I'm going to be selecting them to win the trophy again this season. And I think largely Barca hasn't done a ton of things, hasn't brought in a ton of players, but I think the way that the team develops around them and the way that things continue to build and players continue to get better. Obviously, we're still looking at the goalkeeper situation. Claudio Bravo's name has been heavily mentioned to Manchester City. It seems like in the next couple days he could be there, and Mark Ter Stegen could be the new mainstay there for all competitions. And we know the last few seasons we've seen Claudio Bravo play the La Liga spots, and then we saw Ter Stegen play the Champions League matches. So now Ter Stegen, if Bravo does go to Man City, will be the main guy there, and I think he's a phenomenal goalkeeper. It's a win-win situation when you have two goalkeepers as good as that. It's very difficult to keep both of them happy, but Ter Stegen was very young, and now he's kind of in a position where he's going to be the main man there, and I think largely Claudio Bravo will have that opportunity to be there for all the competitions with Manchester City. So both goalkeepers are going to be very happy with whatever happens, but it's one of those things where with Neymar now, obviously the trident of Suarez, Neymar, and Messi, the amount of success they've been able to have the last two seasons, this season, I think it's going to look very new and even better, because Neymar, the one thing that he's had to do better is becoming a leader. And this season, obviously in the Rio Olympics, he has done just that, become a better leader. Things started out very difficult for Brazil in their campaign trying to get the gold in men's soccer. But he's really bolstered it down, really has helped compose Brazil, and right now they're on a tear and really obviously have that gold locked up, I think, at this point. But I think he will be even better. Suarez last season was unbelievable, and we still remember Messi missed like 7 to 8 months of the last season with an injury, and during that time, Neymar led La Liga in goals scored. Suarez never skipped a beat. The whole club as a whole never skipped a beat, and we all remember the 38 match unbeaten streak that they went through. So Barca had their groove, and I think the one thing that obviously was the big disappointment was losing to Atletico Madrid in the Champions League and not having a chance to defend their title, their treble from last season. But sometimes stuff like that just happens. It's so difficult to redefend all your trophies, and we haven't seen a club win back-to-back Champions League trophies since AC Milan did it. So it's such a difficult competition to defend your crown in. But I think this season, that's the focus, is to do that. La Liga, they've shown that ability to hold that down. And last season, they had a 10-point lead at one point, and then they really had a tough period where they allowed Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid to really catch right back up to them. But Barcelona was running away with it last season, and then they hit a snag in the road. But this season, there's a new defense there. There's some new faces, not a ton, but this is largely what they are. Barcelona has a product that's so difficult to beat and so difficult to counter. In their own La Liga campaign, they're really only going to face a couple tough challenges, and yeah, there's always the occasional tough road match against somebody, but largely La Liga is what it is, and they're only going to face stiff competition from a couple clubs, and largely they'll dominate everybody else. And I think it's the same story for Real Madrid. The question just comes down to is, what are they going to do? How are they going to continue to mesh this group together? Because last season, finishing the way that they did with the Champions League victory, it kind of saved what was largely a season of uncertainty. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane came in and saved the day and largely did a lot of great things there, but the Rafa Benitez start to the season, and then there was always a little bit of turmoil and controversy with Florentino Perez, and at some point there was a talk that maybe Ronaldo and Sergio Ramos weren't being the leaders they needed to be, going off on vacations when they weren't getting ready for match week. So it's one of those things where last season that silverware helped keep the eye back on the prize, and now this season they look poised for a great year. And obviously, whenever you have a club with the amount of talent that they have, you're in position to win some great things. But I just look at it as a whole, and I think Neymar's development and just, we know what the blueprint for Barcelona is. It's unselfishness. It's creating opportunities. It's getting other people in position. As Neymar continues to get better as a leader, I'm not worried for a second about what he does on the playing standpoint. He's almost mimicking Messi in what he can do at this point with his goal-scoring ability and his ability to create chances for people and everything else. Suarez is a perfect fit there. I'm not worried for a second about that. What I think you're going to be looking at is the defense for Barcelona. How do they continue to grow and develop that with some of the new faces that they have? And the question for them is, obviously, I think Copa del Rey, the Liga trophy, it's the Champions League. Can Barcelona win the Champions League trophy again this season? Real Madrid, I don't think they'll defend that trophy, and it's really history is the main reason why. You need to have some luck. You need to have a couple good breaks here and there, and it's just so incredibly difficult to win that trophy back to back, because it's been a long time since we've seen that happen. But when it comes to La Liga, I think you also have to go by history, and just there's a little bit more stability on the side of Barcelona when it comes to that. They've won it 2 times in a row now, and I do think this season they make it 3 in a row. But this weekend we will see Barcelona take on Real Betis and Real Sociedad take on Real Madrid, and we're poised for an incredible one. I mean, obviously, I think it's fun, obviously, when you always want to watch Barcelona and Real Madrid, but when it comes to the rest of the Liga, you're just not missing anything, and I think that's why I've really hammered in this point during other segments and other podcasts is there's just no league like the Premier League, because even across the world, in Italy, all eyes this season, of course, are going to be on Juventus. In La Liga, it's always on the big three of Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and then Barcelona. I mean, if you watch the Bundesliga, you're probably watching Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund, but not much else other than that. And if you watch Liga 1, you only watch Paris Saint-Germain. But if it's the Premier League, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who's playing. There are 7 or 8 clubs who could legitimately win it, and you just can't say that about any other club, any other league in the world. But enjoy, and again, I have Barcelona, who will be the 2016-17 La Liga champions. But until the next time, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll catch everybody in the next episode.